Hello, folks. Welcome to Holding On with Holder, where I talk to interesting people about interesting topics. My name is Steve Holder, and I am your host. My guest this evening is Mike Vardal. He is a YouTuber with his own children's show called The Dogs of Town Hall. Welcome, Mike.
Hi, thank you very much for having me, Steve.
Glad to have you. I've never had a guy that has a TV show before.
No, and we've only been doing it for about a year. We started 1 month after quarantine started. It actually started in April of 2020. So it's been going so well. We just keep doing it, and hopefully we're doing this for a long time.
Okay. Well, give us a little bit of background about who you are.
Well, as I said, my name's Mike Vardal. I live in Connecticut, USA. I am married. I have 4 kids. I work in computers, and it's not a very satisfying job, as you could probably imagine. And me and some other family members have stress issues, anxiety issues, and we're trying to find ways to overcome them. Most like, what if we, post videos online? It's not very comfortable to do it, but maybe you'll help us overcome things. So my kids had the idea that I'm making fun of a song a lot. It's called Savage by Megan Thee Stallion. And instead of saying savage, I say, I'm a salad, lettuce, carrots, and some radish. And they thought it was so funny. They said, no, go put that online. But because of my issues, I'm not very comfortable showing myself. So I threw on a green wig, sang it at the piano. And actually, even today, it still has the most views of any of the thing I have. It's more than like 7,200 views just for that one video. And because of that, I'm like, well, let's just keep doing this. I'm starting to feel more comfortable. I still have anxiety issues, but it's like I'm more comfortable being who I am because I can be as silly as I am. And with the new children's show, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, it's dogs talking and cats talking. So if they say anything that's a little weird or strange, or I could say, you know what, I didn't say that. Rusty the dog said that. So I'm still talking through somebody else. I'm not wearing a wig, but you won't see me in the videos either. So,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much, how that started. Just out of a fluke, make a video and test it out and see how we feel about it.
So it's called the Dogs of Town Hall, the Dogs of Town Hall, right?
Yep, and that's because the very first episode took place in Town Hall. The dogs were offended by a song by Old Dominion because they were singing all their songs over again as meowing. They're going meow, 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 meow. But the dogs were like, why not us? We feel, prejudiced against. So at the end of the video, the dogs are writing a note to the band saying, we want dogs to be in the song, not meowing. So the dogs are going roof, 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 roof. And that was actually the first video that did so well. I'm like, I gotta do more dogs videos. And that was October of 2020, but I didn't really go with the idea until January of this year when the dogs were starting to get their own personalities and different attitudes and got into different situations. So it's still getting developed, but so far we just filmed episode 6, just finished it today actually.
Okay. So why YouTube? Why did you choose to put it on YouTube?
It's just the only one I knew how to use.
Okay.
Honestly, at the time, it didn't have TikTok, it didn't have Instagram, it didn't have Facebook. It's the only one I just knew how to use a little bit, and I was doing research, of how to get the videos out there, setting keywords and SEO. So it was literally just by chance, just for lack of knowledge.
Yeah. And you've been doing it for how long now?
We started April 15th of 2020. Yeah, so almost a year. And that's another reason it's YouTube too. We can get paid from, we're not yet, but we can be paid for advertisements that play before episodes, from sponsors. We already had one sponsor that paid us in a few $100s worth of candy. So the kids love that, hey, there's no cash for us, but boxes and boxes and boxes, of candy came to our door every week.
Your dentist will appreciate that too.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you did.
So what advice would you give to someone that's considering starting a kid show on YouTube?
So starting a kid show with YouTube, we're very conscious, one of how much the kids work is one big thing. Because one of my daughters is the leader of the pack. She's 3 years old, and we don't work her more than a half hour a day or 2 hours in a week. And she always has a choice. Do you want to stop now? Do you want to keep going? Most of the time she says yes, but if she says no, well, we respect it. But another thing I would say is just go with your gut. You know, you're nervous about putting it out. That's a good feeling. If it's nervous, that means you're doing something different. So you're doing something right. If you're not nervous and you're in your comfort zone, you don't want to stay in that place because that's what's causing you problems in the first place.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you said that because getting out of your comfort zone is definitely a positive thing.
Yeah.
And you talk about anxiety. I've struggled with anxiety and depression all my life, and I'm a very shy person. But
Yeah.
you know, I do this podcast, and it's helped me a whole lot to come out of my shell. So
It helped me too. I've been doing podcast interviews probably for about 2 weeks now, but it gets a little bit easier. Now, the first time I was so nervous and my hands were fiddling, and I was talking even faster than I am now. And but you know, I'm learning to feel it's okay. Maybe I look weird. Maybe I sound weird. It just that it doesn't bother me anymore. It's still there, but you know, with anxiety, like you said, some days are still hard, you know, but I do have my family that's here. There's some days I don't want to film at all. I don't want to script. I don't want to do anything.
yeah,
And it's okay to be okay that way.
yeah. So what other YouTube shows do you watch besides your own?
Um, well, with the 4 kids, we do have a lot of kids shows they watch. Uh, Most of the many known ones know they like Ruby and Bonnie and Paw Patrol, of course, because that's another dog show. Um, I like a company called Paper Bag Party. It's actually paper bags that are puppets. They're my friends. They're out, and I believe they're in Ohio. And it's really made for adults. It's not really a kid show, but my kids love it because it's so funny. Even though the jokes could be maybe not appropriate, they don't know that. So, but yeah, that's one of the big ones I love. I also love channels that do music parodies, like the very first video I did where they do you know, different songs, you know, and change all the words and make them funny, especially when they're about moms or dads and families. I like that kind of stuff. Um, Anything comedy, you know, but we watch a lot of YouTube stuff here, you know, just as much as we watch our Netflix.
Yeah. I think I watch more YouTube than I do any channel on TV.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, when I was working 2 years ago, I was working a night shift, 12 hours overnight, and we have a lot of websites blocked. So there wasn't much to do except for watching YouTube.
Yeah,
You know, when we were working, we couldn't get our other channels to watch any TV.
yeah. So are you involved in politics, or do you keep up with current events, or do you just try to keep it light and cheerful and laughter?
Yeah, pretty much light and cheerful. The politics, right or left, they kind of both annoy me. At least now they do. So it's kind of like, you know, I have my own beliefs, but you know, it's a little this way, it's a little bit of that way, you know, and my wife's the same way. She's a little bit right, she's a little bit left. We do live in a democratic state. So, you know, we don't always see eye to eye, but then me and the Republicans don't always see eye to eye. I try to keep politics out of the shows. Or
Okay.
anything that's controversial. Like we're a religious family, but we don't, you know, talk about religion or anything that people could be offended by too much. You know, we try to just do, you know, funny scenarios and you know, how's the dog going to help get out of the hole, or how are they going to help solve this? Just whatever could make people laugh
Yeah.
is more how I go about.
So what kind of childhood did you have? Was there a lot of laughter?
I have a brother and a sister. Both my parents are still married. Um, but none of them are very funny. I was a weird one. They always say, you know, Mike, you're adopted. You're the mailman's kid. You're the milkman's kid. And they still say that now. Now they watch some of my stuff and like, wow, you're still just as weird as you were when you know you were 10. I'm 44 years old now, and I'm probably more immature now than I was then. But you know, the house wasn't, you know, like it wasn't a hostile household or anything. So I had freedom to grow the way I wanted to be. If no matter what happened or what I did, I was still accepted. Just looked at strange, but you know, I was always accepted. And in the same way with my family now, you know, I say a stupid joke, and outside of the house at work, you know, everybody will laugh. But the house, they all just look at me because they're just so used to living with me and hearing my weird humor.
Yeah. So how would you say your childhood affects you now?
Um, it was very nurturing, and as a dad, and I try to be, you know, even more than they were.
Yeah.
I let my kids, you know, whatever they want to do, they can do. We'll support them. Unless it's something extremely crazy, you know, then we'll speak up. But for the most part, they can be whatever they want to be. You know, if they want to be an astronaut tomorrow, then we'll help them figure out how to get there.
There
Which
you go.
I think before I had kids, I wouldn't have said that. It's just you're going to be this and you're going to go to this college and stuff. And then I became a parent. I'm like, that's not really the way it is anymore.
Yeah. Now, how old are your kids?
Um, my son is 17, and my daughter is like 13, 11, and 3. And
Wow.
and the 3-year-old you see a lot of because she's the leader of Dogs Town Hall. She's the only human that's in every single episode. Um, and my other kids will make a brief appearance in the episodes now and then, but they're more comfortable doing dog voices. And that again goes back to their anxiety. I don't want to be seen. I don't even want to be heard. And then once, one of my daughters is like, I want to be heard. Fine. So I gave her a big part of talking. My son wanted nothing to do with any of my YouTube channel at all up until February. So almost a full year. And he sees that all the kids are in it and he's like, I kind of want to be a part of it. I said, I don't have any parts left. We're filming Avery in Wonderland, which is based on Alice in Wonderland. And I said, the only part I have left is the Queen of Hearts. He goes, I'll do it. I'm like, what? You want to be Queen of Hearts? He's like, I don't care. I just want to do something, anything in your episode. So, him who's never been on camera ever comes out, wearing my wife's dress and this funny crown and stuff. And it was just funny because made him feel better because people could see him. They didn't care that he was weird. It's like, I know people think I'm strange, but I just want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So,
What would you say has been your biggest challenge in life, Mike?
one is, overcoming anxiety. Parenting is a lot harder than I thought.
I can imagine.
It's like, you want them to go a certain direction, especially when they got older, but they get their own opinions. And I always imagined that you'd believe everything I believe in the same order, and it's just not. 4 kids, and every single one of them is completely different from each other.
Yeah.
What works on one kid will never work on any of the other 3, and that and that's challenging. And it's also challenging balancing work life and family life, as a lot of people go through, which is another reason I have this channel, because if it went really well, then my work life will be at home anyway.
Yeah. So who are your heroes?
That's a good question. I listen to a lot of classical music. I also play classical piano. So for me, Beethoven and Mozart have always been my heroes. I like a lot of comedians, a lot of mostly musicians that are very well, that are current. But that's never really a question I thought about before either. I like people. Einstein is one of my big ones. I read about a lot of stuff that he does, and a lot of the people that were in the Civil War heroes. The stories you don't hear about. I have a big book of heroes from the Civil War, and they're all women. It's just women in the Civil War, and it's very interesting and things that people never talk about. So my heroes are more like regular everyday people that are doing things. Even like doctors and nurses and stuff that was going on last year. The teachers is a big one for me. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, there's a lot of heroic people in our history that we've never been taught about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't learn about a lot of stuff until after I graduated and read books on my own.
Yeah.
I want to learn more about this. Or even going back to the Civil War, my wife got me a book for Christmas about 5 years ago. I'm like, Civil War, what am I gonna do with this thing? I don't care about this. And then I read it, I'm like, oh, I like this a lot. So we started going to battlefields, we started getting more books, we started going to more museums that have to do with it, just because it was in my lap and it was there.
Yeah. So you mostly listen to classical music?
I do. When I'm home, I listen to classical just to help me relax. Then I play the classical on the piano, usually almost every day after work, at least for half an hour, just to help me decompress. In the car, I listen to country, I listen to rock, not too much rap unless it's the old school rap. But it's different when it's nighttime and it's after work. I just want to calm down and play something lightly just to help settle my brain out for a while, especially before bed.
Yeah. And do you read quite a bit?
I read almost every day.
Yeah.
Right now I'm finishing up the Miss Peregrine series. It's a book of 6 books, and they go on tales. It's fictional, but it's kids that have special abilities, and society looks down on them because they have the abilities, but they're really the special ones. So it's a really cool series. And after that, who knows what I'll read. But many series, me and my wife read at the same time. not this one, but we'll read like Fault in the Stars came out. We both read it together and discussed it, and kind of like our own private book club.
Yeah,
Other books I read with my daughter. We just read The Catcher in the Rye over again, and then discussed it since it was so fresh.
yeah. So what do you think about the present state of the world?
Going down the crap hole pretty much, but but then again, if you asked me that question 20 years ago, I would have told you the same thing.
Yeah,
It's just that now I'm more aware of it. Now that it's more online everywhere, you can go on any social media, Facebook, even TikTok, and read world news.
yeah.
And I'll say something, no, I just read something online. Oh, it was a TikTok video that gave me the news. And we're like, really? And I'll look it up to see if it's real. And sometimes it is, and sometimes it's something fabricated. And it's hard to really know, you got to make your own decisions. But either way, it's not really the best of state. So I just try to focus on our own family and my extended family and people around in our community, just because I can't really help the world, but I can help, localize our own area.
Well, if you can make people laugh, you're helping the world. That's a good thing. We need
That
more laughter in the world.
is true. And I love when I get comments or, messages from people that, hey, my kid really loved your show, or this
Yeah,
show's really for kids, but, I'm 50 years old and I love your show. I'm like, oh, yay. I get letters even, from teenagers. They'll write and they'll say, I know this show is probably meant for kids, 3 to 8, but, I'm 16 and this is the best show ever. And it's like, every video I'm making at least one person laugh, and that feels good. I wish it was 2, I wish it was 4, but I'm at least happy knowing there's at least one person every time I put something out.
when I was a kid, I watched Captain Kangaroo. I'm sure you're familiar with him.
And actually, I have seen it too. I know my dad used to watch them a lot. Used to watch
Have
them a
your
lot.
kids, have you showed your kids Captain Kangaroo?
Oh no! And if I even put on Looney Tunes, regular Looney Tunes, they think it's like crap. And
Yeah,
it's like, what are we talking about? This is one of the best cartoons there is.
yeah,
They
Popeye.
do like Tom and Jerry. That
Yeah,
Tom and Jerry did stick with them.
yeah.
Um, just last week, we watched one episode of Flintstones, one episode of Jetsons, and they'd never seen it before ever. And I'm still not really sure of their opinions. They were just like stunned and just staring at the screen. They wouldn't even
Really?
take their eyes off it to find out what was going on. Like, no, no, this one's the past. This one's the future. Yeah, but I don't get it. What do you mean?
Yeah,
you know,
Popeye the Sailor Man was my hero.
I did watch him a lot, and actually, my kids have watched him too.
So has
Yeah, actually,
COVID-19 hit your family, your friends any much?
what's that?
Has COVID-19
Oh,
affected your family or
I
kids?
not really. No, a few of my family members have had it. Not in my house directly. No one in my house.
Yeah,
Uh, uh, my brother and other relatives have had it, several times. Um, no, but I've been okay. I knew a few people that passed away, but I wasn't very, very close with. Uh, a lot of people at my work, but I work with 600 people, so that's expected. Um, but most of the people I know, recovered very quickly, except for, well, one or two deaths, but it hasn't really affected us. I think it's affected us more that the kids can't go to the carnivals, they can't go to the museums and
yeah.
the bounce places that they like. So now, I'll take a ride just at a grocery store, and they argue about I want to go, no, I want to go. When before, no one ever wanted to go with me, to go do errands. But in a way, it's given us more quality time. We go on more walks, we go on more bike rides, we play more board games. Um, we do a lot more stuff together than we did before. So in a way, it
Are
worked
they
out
in
better.
school now or are you homeschooling?
The 2 middle girls are homeschooled by my wife in a curriculum. They are going to go to the public school starting in September. One will be in 9th grade, one will be in 7th grade. My son was in his senior year, so he's still in public school, but he goes like, one or 2 days a week.
Yeah,
And the youngest is 3, and we were debating on sending her to preschool in the fall. But I think, instead of preschool, we're going to put her in, dance lessons or something instead. So she can still be with the kids, learn her dance, but she can still be home with mom and her curriculum, at least for another year.
so
But
where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
well, we just moved to the town that we're in. We were in a different part of Connecticut earlier. So we'll probably still be in this house because, it's much larger than our old house. Before we were 6 of us living in a 1,000 square foot. So I'm sure we'll still be here. Hopefully, I won't have to be working anymore. this, absolutely have to be, but I was hoping to be doing just making shows, making YouTube videos, sponsorships, things like that is my goal. And actually my goal for that is to be 2 years.
Yeah.
So even if I fall short, hopefully within 5. If not, then, I'll still be in my day job. I'm still providing for my family. Probably not too much would change. I know one of my kids would be off to college. One of them would be just graduating high school in 5 years, but she says she's going to live with us forever. So, and, and, and even if that happened, we're actually even okay with that. We hope she gets married, but if you want to live right across the road or something, kind of like how they did in Everybody Loves Raymond, when they live right across the road, well,
Yeah.
we're okay with that.
Yeah. Sometimes that sounds good in theory.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
what
do
else
hope.
do you want us to know about you and your family, Mike?
Let's see, what do we do? I may or may not have told you before, my wife also has a YouTube channel. She started in June of 2020, and she started for the similar reasons. One, she saw that mine was going well. She also has anxiety issues too, a little bit different than mine, but she's like, I have to make something just because, I don't want people to see me, but I want to make videos and see how well they go. And one of her main focuses, again, was, hey, maybe Mike can stay home and spend more time with us. So she does, they're called clean with me videos. She'll clean the house and people at home watch her and clean with her, or she does
Really?
cooking videos and organizing hacks and cooking hacks, and they do really good. And
Yeah.
we filmed today a crossover episode. So her channel is called Not All That Sparkles Shines. And the episode today, she's making cookies with the 3-year-old. Her name is Avery. While my dogs are interjecting, saying, hey, great form there, great spinning, and just making funny comments to them while they're cooking, because they're cooking, it's a crossover, and they're cooking with Tina from Not All Sparkle Shines, and it's one of the dog's idols. And he's like, she's my favorite YouTuber. So that's what she does. And let's see, what do we do here? I have other hobbies. I also have I play with model trains. I always get a strange look when I say that, but when we moved, I took down a giant train layout from the old house, and I'm trying to find room for it here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that, but that's a hobby of mine. So is bike riding, rollerblading, which I haven't done in a while. That's pretty much us in a nutshell. The family all together works on the shows together. So now that we've been made a few episodes, they'll all help me script. They'll all help edit. They'll all act in it. If we have to pass out parts to people. So now it's a family thing. Hey, read the script and tell me what you want to think. Can you add this part? I had one script that was completely done. And I said to my daughter that I was 11, can you make this any funnier? She goes, yeah, this dog says, well, we should stop arguing. Maybe we should just be friends. I said, yeah. She goes, well, how about this dog starts singing, let it go, let it go. And the Queen's like, wrong show. Because that was from Frozen. So just funny interjections now and then my kids will add into the episodes, or they kind of more or less add into their own personalities.
Yeah.
As it goes on and on, it's more of the personalities.
Well, I wish you much success with your show, and I hope everything works out the way you want it. And maybe you can be the next Captain Kangaroo.
I think I've seen that many times too. My dad had a movie theater in his old basement.
Oh, really?
Like a literal movie theater, and he had a lot of those in reel to reel. And he had Little Rascals that I was watching since I was young, and Mr. Magoo. So all those great shows we watched on this big giant screen in the basement, and I think that had a big impact of who I was too, because my dad loved comedy shows, although he's not really the funniest person. He liked that type of show, and I was always exposed to that.
How about the Three Stooges? Did you like the Three Stooges?
I did like the Three Stooges. I did not like Shemp, but I like the other three before he was there, and we had that in the movie theater as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we watched a lot of those. I was one of those people back then. I couldn't get why they were in black and white. Why the Little Rascals was in black and white until I was older. But now that I'm older, I appreciate them a little more.
Yeah. Well, it's been nice talking to you, Mike. You want to tell everybody one more time the name of your show and where they can see it?
Oh, sure. The name of the show is Dogs of Town Hall. It's on a YouTube channel called Vardalia Onions. It's my last name with an IA like the onion, but the quickest way to find us is just to go to YouTube and type in Dogs of Town Hall, or go to Google and type in Dogs of Town Hall. You may have to click on the word videos, but it comes right up, and we appreciate anyone's support, like, subscribe, share, all the usual stuff definitely helps us out and helps out our entire family.
Yeah, well, there you go. Well, thanks for being my guest tonight, Mike. I've enjoyed talking to you.
Oh, thank you very much. You too.
Thank you. And folks, thanks for tuning in to Holding On with Holder. Please subscribe to my channel and share this video with the me and their closest friends. And be sure and check out the Dogs of Town Hall. Mike, take care. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Have a great night.
Bye.